No Man's Sky. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when a game reaches almost religious states of hype. Did you really expect it to reach your expectations? Hey guys, I'm Morphologist, and in this video, I'm going to pull the brakes on that hype train. So the reality is, No Man's Sky is an independent game, published independently but distributed and marketed as a AAA game. It certainly hasn't helped that Sean Murray at Hello Games has been so vague and contradictory through the years leading up to this week, which has contributed greatly to the speculation and resulting hype surrounding No Man's Sky. So it should probably go without saying then that people are disappointed, even angry at what they feel is missing from the release, namely multiplayer. Now, at this point, judging by my earlier video on my channel, you may have expected me to go on ranting about how multiplayer is missing and how I wish it was in the game. But honestly, I've actually really enjoyed the first 10 hours of play. And what I've learned from that time is that the game really doesn't lend itself to multiplayer play. The star map system is kind of difficult to navigate. There's no way to set waypoints anywhere when you're in a star system or planet. So I imagine trying to meet up with somebody and then trying to tell them what you're gonna do next would be pretty downright impossible in the game's current state. But despite that, despite the fact that I wanted it to be multiplayer, I still ended up spending pretty much all of Saturday and most of Friday night playing the game. And that's really unusual for me. Sure, the menu system is clearly a straight port from PS4, with absolutely no mind given to how PC users would interface. And sure, there is a bit of a learning curve to working out what to do when you start, because of how unintuitive the crafting system is. And yeah, the graphics are icky muck, with unpredictable CPU stuttering, and made clearly to look better from afar or on video than on a high-resolution PC monitor. But after I realized that no game goes off without a hitch in its first week and let go of all of my expectations, I started to really, truly enjoy the experience. That's what No Man's Sky really is. It's an experience more than a game. After you wade through the muck of just trying to figure out how to play the game and just realize that you have the keys to a starship to explore an infinite universe, the world becomes immersive, and those textures and jaggy edges just fade away, replaced instead by a beautiful, moving pastel painting that has more place on a cover of some old paperback science fiction novel than in an exploration game like this. The palette is so consistent, whether you're in space or on some beautiful alien vista overlooking plains with some planet off in the distance in space orbiting yours. It's moments like these that are absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful. You forget that you're playing a game for a while and you just become that explorer in an infinite universe, equipped only with the little ship that couldn't and some mystery that's for some reason leading you to the center of the universe. There are very few games that can claim that almost every moment is worthy of box cover art, and that's something No Man's Sky has in spades. But unfortunately, just on the periphery of that beautiful vision, there are some blemishes. Procedural generation has been a huge talking point, so I would be remiss not to discuss it. In case you didn't know, planets, creatures, structures, and even ships are all products of No Man's Sky's highly touted procedural generation code. And sadly, but quite predictably, everything clearly looks like it was generated by a procedural generation code. It was only the 4th or maybe 5th planet with life on it that it began to notice the same tale, just resized on different creatures in completely different star systems. And sometimes the configurations would look downright goofy, just completely illogical and something that you would never really imagine being a creature. But despite that, I still enjoyed the experience and my interactions with local fauna. I recall one truly enjoyable instance where I befriended a strange upright T-Rex dog-headed thing that ended up following me around and even protecting me against more aggressive wildlife, one of which I later named Ratosaurus Rex because it was basically a T-Rex with a rat head that had spikes coming out of it. It was downright goofy, but still kind of fun to look at. So yeah, No Man's Sky code still falls short of the holy grail of self-perpetuating automated content creation. But thankfully, it isn't something that breaks your immersion, and that's saying something. The background story is pretty appealing too. something that you learn about through the discovery of runes and relics scattered about the universe, which seem to suggest through their stories and direction that you need to go to the center of the universe, but it never really explains why. And again, this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to tell you what happens. But I wouldn't call No Man's Sky a story-driven game. It is more of a companion to give you direction in an infinite universe, and one that you are even given an option to completely opt out of straight from the start. There's an option where it says, do you want to follow the direction of this orb thing, or would you like to just do whatever you want? Beyond the main storyline, though, there are some stories that you may just discover which are isolated to planets. I recall one such instance where I encountered a planet with a bunch of abandoned facilities on it. Almost none of them were inhabited by any sort of creature. It was only after I crawled into the wreckage of one of these facilities to find an old log that I discovered why this had happened. Apparently, according to the log, the planet was some unimaginably large, world-encompassing entity that slowly consumes its occupants. The blood-red oceans were actually the lifeblood of this creature, and the land the flesh. Any structure or hapless creature to stay on the surface for too long would slowly be consumed. And sure enough, the very facility I found the logs in was wrought with these green pulsating vines which wrapped around everything inside. What's more was that this event was complemented very appropriately by an ominous soundtrack playing as soon as I stepped into the abandoned facility, and I found that to be really quite cool. A very good use of music. When creating Star Wars, George Lucas and John Williams understood the importance of music and how it can really define and set the tone of a universe. And I think that the creators of No Man's Sky also understood this, because their soundtrack really is excellent. Its use is appropriate, and it instills a sense of wonder and exploration, which is what this game is pretty much about. Especially in those moments of seclusion and reflection where it's just you and the universe. So in conclusion, No Man's Sky definitely isn't the best game ever created. It's shallow and at sometimes frustrating, but oddly, it's an enjoyable and addicting experience. Whenever I'm talking about games with friends, I always tell them that games should instill a sense of wonder if they want to be successful. And No Man's Sky really does deliver. And if you should decide to buy this game, take my advice. There is a right way and a wrong way to play No Man's Sky. This is an exploration game. If your goal is to beat it faster than your friends, then you're doing it wrong. Exploration takes time and patience, and that's what you're going to have to do if you really want to experience the game the way the creators intended. No Man's Sky will definitely not meet your expectations, but so long as you leave them in the other room when you play, I guarantee you will enjoy No Man's Sky. I give No Man's Sky a 7 out of potato, because screw rating systems and make up your own damn mind. So what do you think of No Man's Sky? Did it meet up with your expectations, or are you horribly disappointed? I want to know in the comments section. If you liked the video, or if you liked me, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.